Hello everyone, my name is Silver Willowing and today we're going to talk about something I find extremely interesting and very curious at the same time. So recently the director of How to Train Your Dragon 3 The Hidden World, Dean DeBlois, had a question session on Reddit where fans and anyone really could write in and ask him a question and he would answer it to the best of his ability. And one particular question is very interesting. I'm sure some of you have read this before, but let me just quote him here. The Light Fury is a species name given to her by Hiccup and Astrid. We deliberately didn't give her a personal name because we wanted to keep her wild. She isn't a Night Fury, she's a variation of the species with her own traits and abilities. Unlike Toothless, she is not the last of her kind. This is really interesting because it confirms a lot of speculation whether she was a Night Fury and why she looks so different compared to Toothless. So it's confirmed here that she's in fact not a Night Fury at all, as some of us used to believe. I'm personally really happy and thankful that she's not a Night Fury because she did not share the same traits, visual traits at least. So I'm really glad that she's her own unique species. But it also raised some speculations whether to the supposed romance between Toothless and this Light Fury, with time they're gonna reproduce. But this might not be a possibility since there are two unique species or subspecies of each other. It's similar we see in nature with crocodiles and alligators. They cannot breed because they don't have the same DNA. They are of the same branch of evolution, but they cannot reproduce because they are so different from each other DNA based. And with the appearance being very different for the Light Fury and the Night Fury, I would be led to believe something similar is going on in their biology and their anatomy and down to their DNA. So another thing that's really interesting about this is that Dean mentions that she is not the last of her kind. Almost, pretty much, more or less surely spoiling that we are going to be seeing more Light Furies in this movie. Why else would he say that she's not the last of her kind? How would we otherwise know this in the movie? Pretty sure we're gonna see some Light Furies apart from just her, and that is something that brings us to the eggs of the trailer, because I've been looking at this picture of these eggs and there are some traits about them where you think, okay, this is definitely not a Light Fury, but then there are others where it really does look like a Light Fury. So let's take a look at it, shall we? First of all, these dragons have what appears to be a very light color. The egg is transparent, also meaning it's really light. It has no strong pigments, just as the Light Fury doesn't have any strong pigments. And it has very big eyes. These little fetus that is inside of this egg has very large eyes and a relatively big snout and a relatively big head and what appears to be a white body. But then I went ahead and looked at the tail, and no tail fin is visible on this baby if we take a closer look at it. We can also see the legs of the baby, which has 3 claws on it at this point, or 3 fingers and 3 toes. And I've been trying to find pictures where we can really accurately see how many claws the Light Fury has, and I have not been able to find one that really truly showcases it, so make me 100% sure how many claws she actually has. As we all know, Toothless has 4. The Night Fury has 4 claws or fingers on his front and hind legs, but the Light Fury has considerably slender wrists and slender arms all over. We can see that she's hitting Toothless. Her claws and her hand or paw is really a lot smaller than the one we see on Toothless, which could lead me to believe if she actually does only have 3. Could that be a possibility, so that the baby we see here is actually a Light Fury? Another option is that one of the claws is simply hidden because of the angle, similar to humans, because when I hold my hand like this, you cannot see that I have a thumb. So it could be a matter of the angle and trying to hide the fact that it actually has 4, if the Light Fury does indeed have 4, which I'm not entirely certain about. Then we take a look at the tail, and it's clear that the tail is missing the classic tail fins, but this could simply be a matter of age, that the young do not have the tail fins yet. It is something that grows out later in life, similar to rhinos that gain their horn after they have reached a certain age and maturity. We also see it in birds. When birds are born, they do not have tail feathers. Even if they have the biggest tail in the bird kingdom, they do not have it when they are born. So this could be similar with the dragons, that they simply just don't have it yet. It's not grown out yet. I think it's very likely that these eggs are Light Fury eggs, but it's also very likely that they are not. We cannot be certain. The egg is a very interesting size. It's a very interesting looking egg with a transparent shell, and there is a lot of them. But if we assume that this is indeed a Light Fury egg, then there is a lot of Light Furies in that hidden world. Or at least they're gonna be when these eggs hatch. Another clue that this could be Light Fury eggs is that if you watch the trailer, directly after we see the eggs, the trailer cuts to the Light Fury standing at the beach, almost hinting at the fact that this is her eggs, or this is at least the species that she is that is inside of these eggs. It's all really interesting, and it does really raise a lot of speculation, and there's so much more to take out of this trailer than we first imagined. And I think the idea of a Light Fury not being extinct or nearly extinct like Toothless is a good way to go for the movie, since Toothless was supposed to be this special dragon. He was the last of his kind, and there's not much to be done about that, which made him a bit sad, but also made him special in a sense, because he was the last of his kind. And in order to kind of preserve that, I do believe they're choosing to go with this direction and actually having the Light Fury have fellow species members around, a family in this hidden world where they have been hiding underground, and that goes to show why they look like they do, because they have adapted to a life more or less underground, or at least hidden for the most part. So I'm really happy with this development. It makes it way more realistic for the movie that she's her own unique species. It confirms some of her different traits compared to Toothless, because they are very different, and she can do things that Toothless can definitely not. And Toothless can probably do things that she cannot, such as harness lightning and activating his alpha mode. So I think it's really cool that we have two different species that are kind of the same, similar to zebras and horses, or like I said before, alligators and crocodiles. So I'm really excited to see where they're gonna go with this, and I can't wait for more information to surface. This was really nice from the director, Dean DeBlois, to tell us about this in the Reddit post so that we have some more information. Feel free to check out all of his answers. I'm going to post a link to the Reddit post down in the description, so you can go ahead and check it out for yourself. There's some really interesting information there, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. I will see what else I can dig up about this movie. If you have any topics you want me to discuss here, I am more than willing to do that, so feel free to leave suggestions in the comment section, and I will look forward to reading them. Thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. So long, Dragon Riders!